If you're looking for a realtor that is care first and closing second, taking care of you and your family, I'd like to introduce y'all to Tina Andrade out of Millington, Tennessee. And
Right.
she has been a real estate agent since January of 2000 and has been helping families and investors find places to call home across 22 counties in Tennessee and Mississippi. Tina's approach to her entire real estate business that she has built on integrity, communication, and compassion, and putting her clients first. Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. Hey, Tina, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you today?
I'm good. Cold. It's that time of year. Break out the hoodies and
Right.
do all I can do
Well,
to stay warm between now and not hibernate the next couple of months. But
well, here you never know what you're going to get, and you can be in flip-flops on Monday and in a coat and freezing on Wednesday. So
yeah,
right now it's keep your whole closet open because you don't know what you're going to wear.
you're right. So let's little bit of background on for you. You started in 2000, and tell us a little bit about your journey, your why you got into real estate, and then I'll follow that up with a bunch of questions.
Okay. Well, I actually moved from Arkansas to Tennessee in 1997 as a property manager for Equity Properties, and I was running an apartment complex in Memphis. And bought my first house in 1999 around the corner from the apartment complex. And, as any non agent looks at that check and thinks, oh my gosh, look at the hours I'm working as a property manager at this apartment complex. And I could have been making that selling a house, not thinking of the amount of money we put into it for education and every marketing and everything else. But it was a silly thought of I'm already in this business, sort of, and I'm going to go get my real estate license. And I did. And I graduated the class in December of 1999 and took my first job in new construction in January of 2000. And my career just evolved from there.
Nice. What is a couple of things you like doing outside of when you step away from real estate as a real estate agent, if that's even possible? You carve out some time for yourself. What do you love doing?
um, I don't know that there's time carved out for a realtor, but I love to go vacationing. I make it a habit to go to the beach every year for a week with my family. For me, outside of real estate, family is probably my most important thing, and I spend as much time as possible with them because this career does take a lot of your time. So I would say that cooking is a passion. I love to cook and travel. So those are my things that I enjoy.
All right, so I'm a beach guy, and I think I know the answer to this, just knowing where Millington is. How far of a drive from there is the communities that you serve to the beach?
It's got to be according to what beach you're talking about.
That's right.
So,
Orange Beach,
um, Orange Beach is about 6.5 hours,
about 6.5.
and a lot of people go there. About 4.5 hours to Gulf Shores.
Yeah.
But we can go to Nashville Shores in 3 hours and hang out up there. And if we just want to hit a beach on a lake, we can be at a couple of different lakes in about 2 hours.
Nice. I was right on two of them. So good, good deal. So tell me a little bit about what care first, close second, your philosophy there.
Well, I kind of learned early on in the career. I got into it as most people do. Single mom at the time, raising my kids, thinking I was going to have all this time and I needed to make a lot of money. And everybody said real estate's the way to go. And so I kind of went into it blindsided, thinking that it was kind of the way to make great money as a single parent and do all that. But I found out the more I counted my money instead of working for my clients, the less money I made. So I really had to have a inner talk with myself. And I'm a very spiritual person, and I just kind of went into prayer, and I said, how am I going to make this career work? And I found that the less I think about what I'm making and the more I think about my clients and what's best for them and how to work for them and not worry about what the bottom dollar is on the back end, the more blessings I've been given in this career. And it has been tremendous to see how it has grown in 20, almost 26 years, and the different routes I've taken, from first time home buyers to veterans to investors, and learning all the ins and outs. And and with everything I do, as I say, I want to treat you the way I'd want somebody to treat my mama,
Mm-hmm.
with respect and honesty, and to do the right thing, even if it doesn't give you exactly what you thought you were going to get in the end. And when I say that, sometimes we have to give a little to get a little.
Right. So what is long term after, after closing, somebody might think, oh, I just bought a house, that's kind of the end of it. Um, I mean, that's the transactional piece of it. What is it about that relationship that's important to you well beyond closing?
I tell all of my clients that closing does not end our relationship, it ends the transaction. And that I'm there for those phone calls once you move in and you don't know where your main shutoff is, or you don't know where to find the clean out at, or all of a sudden you've had a plumbing issue 6 months later and you don't know who to call, or you got some mail in and it looks official, but you don't know, should you really pay for that or not? So I'm there to help with all those questions after you move in. They may have decided they need to put in a new faucet and they don't know a plumber in the area. They decided they want to put in new interior doors because they don't like them. Do I know a new good contractor? So for
Hmm.
me, the after the close is, just because the transaction's done doesn't mean the relationship's over. So I tend to keep long-term relationships with my clients,
Yeah, and it
and more than
shows.
just a Christmas card.
Right. Well, as I'm filling out Christmas cards, um, what this time of
Sorry.
year. So, what are some things that you do outside of that, outside of Christmas cards, and Thanksgiving texts that are important to you, important touch points for you?
Well, I usually keep up with them about every 3 months. And I have a system where I rotate from phone calls to text messages, to a mail out or an email
Hmm.
out. And, I know my clients. I know if they have a baby due in 3 months. So I
Yeah.
know to give them that call. Hey, when's the baby shower? I'm at housewarming parties and baby showers and wedding showers and weddings, because those are building the relationships. So, I get those phone calls, when I know they're trying for a baby, and I say to them, well, I'm going to keep up with you and find out if he's going to get a little sister. And then later you find out he didn't get one, he got two,
Mm.
and she had twins. So, they're all my friends on social media, and I keep up with them through social media, and I comment on all their stuff and tell them how proud I am of the things that are happening in their life. But it's just different touches at different times, and it's not all about real estate. It's about, them, their family, what's going on
Yeah.
in their life.
Nice. Um, So in your journey and growth and success as a real estate agent, what would you tell year one Tina?
Oh, the 1 year old, when I was in it for the first year, to not be afraid of changes, because this career is ever evolving. And
Hmm.
that when you make a change, it's scary, but if you put the time and the effort and the education into it, that you might just find it could be the best thing you ever did, because it is very scary to change from being in new construction to doing, what I call residential sales out to the public, and you're not walking into you. it's a change to work with investors and learn about AVMs and RVMs and, you know, how to run comps and all that for aftermarket values and know what to do. And, you know, I just think with this industry, the industry rolls and changes every year. And you've got to be able to do that with it. And it's scary. And for someone starting who moved to a city she knew nobody in, you know, I had no family, no friends, and started from scratch, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, it was by trial and fire sometimes. And it wasn't always just error. It was throwing yourself in the fire and praying that you know, came out.
Yeah.
But I can say that I've made many mistakes over the 26 years. I've, you know, been able to say when I'm wrong and learn from that and just know that you don't know it all. Every day you're going to learn something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only been a lender. I say only. I've been a lender for 6 years, and it is nowhere near the same as it was 6 years ago.
Mhm.
The amount of changes and stuff. So you gotta be on top of your game, and always wearing my learning hat. Good for you.
Absolutely.
Tell us, okay, so we mentioned, 22 different counties across Tennessee and Mississippi. That is a big footprint. You have a team. I'd love to hear
I
about the
do.
communities that you serve. And yeah, let's talk about the communities that you serve, and then we'll jump into your team.
Okay, so the point of the 22 counties in two states is I started out in the Memphis, Tennessee area, Memphis Association of Realtors, and was kind of working that footprint. And then I had some family moved into Mississippi, which, you know, we border each other, cross the line, you know, you're right there. So I got my Mississippi license and thought, well, I'm going to work some of Mississippi. I'm just going to do three counties over there because that's where my family is. And I've done that for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 6 years ago, I was approached by someone to work with some veterans in the Jackson, Tennessee area, which would have put me in the Central West area. Well, to do that, that added 14 more counties to what I was already doing. But my crazy self said, well, you know, for veterans, I'll do anything. I'll drive an hour, hour and a half. Let's go find you a house because I have a love for them. You know, got veterans in my family. We were, you know, a lot of military in the family, a lot of military in my area because I live in Millington where there's a Navy base. And I thought, you know, I couldn't join the military, but I can give back in this way. So I'm just going to drive. And 6 years later, I'm driving 22 counties in two states and I love it. I absolutely love it. The people I get to meet, the people I get to help, the
Mm-hmm.
people I get to serve is amazing.
Wow. So veterans, first-time home buyers, families moving into Tennessee and Mississippi,
Hmm.
investors, and you also do some stuff with helping families with the estate sales too, right?
I do. I do. So a few probate attorneys around, and then now, of course, I've been known as the person that'll work with the estates, and those are a little more emotional, especially when you've got
Yeah.
someone who it was their parents' house for 40 years. It's a little lighter tread to do, because it is an emotional sale when you're selling your childhood home, or you know, it's even worse sometimes when the parents are still here and they're moved out and living with them or in assisted living. It's a different thing. You have to be very slow, very meticulous, and work at their pace and be able to talk to them in a manner that's not going to offend them. I mean, I understand it. You know, I know my parents' homes are not all top notch, but
Mm-hmm.
those are my parents' homes. And I can walk in as a realtor and see the things that need to be done, but as a child, those are my parents' homes, you know. So I do
Yeah.
understand the having to have a little bit different outlook on an estate because it is emotional. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing about real estate. Everything's different. Estates are emotional and investors are not. It's all about the numbers in business. So that's where I say you, as a realtor, you have to be able to rotate for your clients' needs and not your own. So, yeah, estates are. They can be a joy in the end, but they can definitely be tough to work if you are not in the right mindset to work with people who are emotionally attached to a house that they're not going to keep.
Yeah. Any particular estate sale stand out to you that was extremely memorable?
Oh, yeah. I had one, there were 28 heirs,
Wow.
and we found 27. We finally found the 28th one, and they had been estranged from the family, and we had to take a ride out to North Carolina to convince them that it was financially worth signing the documents to sell this house because there was more involved than just the house. You got to remember, you've got the house part. There's a lot of times more involved in this estate than
Sure.
just the house. But yeah, 28 heirs. Took 3 months to find the 28th one after we sold the house. And then we had to drive up and convince them to sign the paperwork.
Mm, mm.
So be
How'd you
nice
feel
to your
after that?
cousins. Relieved because the little family buying the house, they were veterans, teachers, first time home buyers. So you want to talk about an emotional roller coaster all the way around?
Yeah.
That was it. That was
Wow.
probably and not even the most expensive house I've sold on an estate, probably one of the least expensive houses I've sold on an estate,
Mm,
but probably one of the most rewarding and emotionally fulfilling for everybody involved when it was done.
yeah. I believe it. I was just thinking of my grandparents' estate whenever they passed. The family sold their farm. And I kind of knew what the new buyers were going to do to the place, and they did a massive renovation. So I sure did go in there and I grabbed that door jamb for where all of the kids would mark their growth, right, on the door
That's what I'm
jamb.
saying. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying. You
know,
never know what the simplest of I mean, I've had people get upset about having to remove wallpaper and carpet
yeah, yeah,
because they remember when their mom bought that wallpaper,
yeah.
you know?
So
I mean, so you never know what somebody's attached to. I
yeah,
mean,
we got that too. Yeah,
when we talk about a house is not a home until the people are in it. And once people get in it, it is no longer a house, it is a home. And that emotional attachment can get really strong.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's the one thing, that's the most memorable. I got a lot of great memories of that place, but a tangible thing is that, because I just remember as kids, we all lining up, all the grandkids, and
Hmm.
Grandpa would come in and pull out
Mark you.
he'd mark it.
Yep.
Then my grandmother'd be like, "Oh shoot!" She'd have something to say about tearing up the house, and anyway, it was
Hmm.
great. It was great. But
Yeah,
we
but
have
dads
that.
and granddads didn't care. That's what they did. That was
That's
their way of
right.
seeing who was growing taller, and it was a conversation thing for families.
Yeah, yeah. We have that. So, and then the new
Oh,
owners, they made it their home, so they
oh
do
yeah.
what they do. So, let's talk about veterans. Um, VA loans, VA purchases, they are that entitlement that veterans earn and active duty earn. Um, Anything stand out there that are in your experience that you wish home buyers vets knew going into that contract?
For buyers on a VA, I wish they understood a little bit better. It's like they're told they're getting 100% financing, which is absolutely true. You are getting 100% financing. 100%. If that house is 300,000, you're going to get a $300,000 loan if you qualify for it. You still have to qualify like any other person. But let's say you do. They still don't think about the closing expenses that would come out of pocket,
Hmm.
because they've been trained their whole life to hear a VA loan is 100%, 100%, 100%, but they don't think of the closing expenses, and even the funding fee can be, rolled into the loan. But when it comes to closing costs, earnest money, inspections, And
Yeah.
we're in Tennessee and Mississippi, so we may have well inspections, not just a house and a termite. We
Yep.
may have to have well inspections and
Septic
septic
inspections, pest
inspections, and
inspections.
so this starts adding up, and I see them get deflated sometimes
Yeah.
when all of a sudden, even if I can talk to the seller and get them to pay the closing cost, there's still upfront expenses. And so I do see some of my veterans get deflated when I say, hey, even if I can get them to pay everything else, I need you to have $2,000. And they're like, nobody told me that. Now, here's the thing, somebody has probably told them that, especially if they've talked to a lender before me.
Yeah. If
But in the wor- world that they're in, they
sure.
hear 100% financing. And if you're a home buyer that doesn't work in our industry and you told me I'm getting 100% financing, I would have thought the same thing. Woohoo! I'm not going to have to be out a dime. But in all actuality, it's 100% plus a little bit. You've got to have a little skin in the game,
Yeah.
you
If
know.
only there was a loan officer that would sit down and do an actual loan consultation and walk a veteran through
Through
the
that,
entire
I know.
process.
Nathan, I wonder who he could be because, I would love
Uh,
to meet him if he could just set them down and give them all the details. That would be fantastic. Do you know somebody?
I do. Just so happen I do.
Just so happen you do.
Yeah, as a veteran, as a loan officer, and a veteran, I care deeply about all of my clients, customers, and the VA loan is, so it's a wonderful product. I think it's the best loan out there,
Oh, I do
and
too. I agree. I agree with
setting
that.
up a veteran and their family for success, by doing that loan consultation with them, and you know I in my industry I know loan officers that don't have a clue about VA loans because they don't write very many, if any, and that's okay. They probably grade it right in conventionals or some other fancy loan, I don't
Right.
know. And then giving the tools back to the realtor to negotiate from a strong position, all the different, I tell homeowners, or the buyers, I'm like, look, I don't get into the real estate side of it, but I do the numbers, right? So I was like, you never know what the seller's needs are. Um, and I'm like, don't assume that they're not going to do a concession because they've got a number, they know what their break even or their profit
Well, and
points
and
are.
that's where the realtor comes in on knowing
Yeah.
what this market is right now.
Yeah.
And it is where I feel like if you have a good lender and a good
Uh-huh.
realtor that communicate,
That's right. That's the team.
that's the key is communication. If I can call Nathan and say, hey, Jim Bob just reached out to me and he's approved for 250,000 with a VA loan. Can you tell me how much is he going to need in closing cost? This is about what the taxes run in our area where he's
Uh-huh.
looking, and this is about what the insurance is going to run that I've seen before. You've got the interest rate. We're having a conversation. I now know he needs $10,000 for that $250,000 house and closing expenses to ask to the seller. So
Yeah.
now I know how to talk to Jim Bob about, hey, and you've already told him he needs about that $2,000. And I'm going to tell him again, that we're going to need 500 in earnest money and we're going to go over it again so that when we put in that offer and he knows his deadlines and timelines in that contract, we know what we've asked that seller for because you and I have had a conversation. We've been
Yeah.
able to communicate to pre work that deal prior to having to go to that list agent and present it. So we're given a solid offer with solid numbers, and we're
Yeah.
not going to have to negotiate back and forth too many times. Because on this end, after I've talked to you, I've probably talked to that agent and I've said, hey, I'm going to be bringing you an offer. This
Yeah.
is what it's going to look like. We need this. How does that seem to you? I can tell by the tone of the voice whether we're about to have a deal or we're about to get a counter, but I know we're about to work something out. But the
Right.
biggest the biggest thing to me with being a realtor is working with that lender up front before you start making offers and knowing what's the best route we as a team can do for that client,
I'm
whether
loving
it's a
what you're throwing
VA,
down.
FHA, or whatever.
It's
That,
true.
I mean, in
That's true.
any
I would
loan.
tell every buyer, every home buyer out there, if your realtor, well, your realtor and your lender are your team. They're on your
Yeah.
side. They're your advocates. And
Hmm.
if they aren't communicating, Lord.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I will tell you, I have had one of my lenders call me and say, "Hey, I got an offer from this other agent. I thought this was your client." And I'm like, "Well, I already told that client that I can't get them a $300,000 house for $1,000 a month payment." I said, "You and I have already discussed it. So therefore, I'm not going to show them $350,000 houses that they don't qualify for, one, because they're
Mhm.
only qualified for 250. But even at 250, they're not going to get $1,000 payment. I'm not going to set them up for failure or disappointment."
Yeah.
So they went out and found an agent that would go set them up for failure and disappointment, who wrote a $200,000 offer this last weekend, then called the lender and said, "Hey, I've got this offer." And he goes, "Well, who are you? Because it's not me." And
Uh-huh.
she said, "Well, they called me and they wanted to see this." And I'm sure they did, because their agent's not giving them what they want. Okay. But
Yeah.
I'm not a miracle worker. I can't give with no money down. I cannot, with any lender that I know anywhere in the country, give you $1,000 payment on a $200,000 house.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to find that. So for me, it's very important when I mean, I don't know what agent's going to go out and just write an offer on a house
Mm.
that these people can't buy, won't buy. They can,
Yeah.
they won't. So I really think I love a three-way conversation with my lenders and my clients and myself, to where we're all on the same team. I do text messages where we're all in the same text message. I do joint emails. I keep us in tune to each other so that if anything comes up along the way, your team's right there to fix it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just important in any real estate transaction. You and I have to be on the same team.
That's right. That's right. Communication is key. So you
Absolutely.
brought up team. So let's talk about your team.
Okay.
You lead a team of three dynamic women. What roles do they play? Uh,
Well, I am the
yeah.
team lead. And of course, I've been around for almost 26 years, and business has been good to me. And I had a young lady who was working as my transaction coordinator, but she's a licensed agent, got her broker's license, and just never really joined a team. Has worked in our office at Fast Track Realty for a few years, and up front. And she's been wanting the opportunity to be a part of a team. So we actually are breaking out and announcing that team in January of 2026. We've been putting it together for about 4 months behind the scenes, websites and videos and all the things. But Samantha Ward is a Tennessee licensed broker, and she will travel about probably all 18 of those counties in Tennessee without a problem. She's like me, she will be a road warrior. She lives in the Cordova, Tennessee area, but she is just outstanding, great personality. The young lady's just, it's phenomenal what all she can do, and she's great at marketing. And then Amber McLeod joined us in May as a brand new agent. Um, and I'll tell you a little bit about her. She is my daughter. And it took me 26 years almost to convince her to join. She has worked in the capacity of working for the title companies. She's worked as a transaction coordinator. She has done real estate admin work, all that over the years. But I finally convinced her to join the family business
Mm,
and become a realtor. And she said it's definitely different than working on the back end. She's closed about 8 deals this year, her first year, and that's not bad considering it's been less than 6 months. So, pretty
yeah.
proud of her start. She lives in Tipton County out in Mumford, and She tends to work a lot of that side of the state, like from Memphis to Dyersburg, and then the circle around Jackson and back. And not as much in the Savannah, Tennessee, which would be your south side of Tennessee. She's not doing as much there, but that's coming. You got to build. Samantha's been in it a little longer and she's got a little bit, more experience. But Amber's definitely got experience by fire from working in it in the family realm too. So pretty proud of those girls. I think they've both done really good this year, and I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Nice. It's generational now. Good for
Mm-hmm.
you. Uh,
Yeah.
so as a lender, as a loan officer, I promise clear and smooth and flawless closings. Tell me what a smooth transaction looks like from a realtor's perspective.
Oh, a smooth transaction, of which we don't get many of. But a smooth one is when the lender's got everything worked out, the buyer knows exactly what they're getting there, no surprises. We put an offer in, we get it accepted, the inspection goes smooth, very few to no repairs. Seller agrees to everything, appraisal comes back great, and we all close on time. That is a smooth transaction. They don't happen often, but they do happen because there's going to be a hiccup. We're
Yeah.
working with people, we're working with homes, so there's going to be a hiccup. But usually it's
Yeah.
nothing we can't work out.
What are you seeing any trends there that might we might could mitigate either as a lender? Are you seeing some trends that lenders might could mitigate some of those the bumpy ride or
I'm
in the
not
listing of a
I'm
property?
not seeing I'm not seeing it on the lender side. I mean, y'all can't help it if somebody decided to go buy furniture 4 days before close and then it comes up on their credit report.
I do have that conversation in my consultation. It's
We
happened.
all do, but I
Oh
think
my
they get
Lord.
excited because we're right there at it. No, in all honesty,
Yeah.
most of the things that come up on our end as realtors is going to be during the inspection period,
Yeah.
termites inspections, doing repairs. That's usually our biggest hiccup. I've noticed that the appraisals have aligned pretty much toward the end of the year. In the beginning of the year, we were hitting a lot of tide water, but not really having that so much after the spring was over. By the time we hit summer, that seems to have died down. So I'm not really seeing a lot of lender hiccups. Most of it is going to be just trying to get that buyer and seller to negotiate everything through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I know on the lending side, if I when I put a loan together correctly on the front end, that mitigates all the well, that's half the equation, and then the rest is the property itself. So
Yeah, it's
good.
usually property itself. And
Yeah.
and the crazy thing I tell people, because they always say, "Oh, well, you're a salesperson. You're out there selling houses." I have never sold a house in my life.
Corralling, maybe.
I don't sell houses. I told him, I said, you don't understand what I do for a living. I said,
Yeah.
a lot of mine is coordinating
Yeah.
everybody to do their job to get this
That's
job
right.
to the closing table. It's a lot of negotiation and coordinating. I said, but my job is to bring people home and build generational wealth with investors.
Yeah.
That's my job. My job is to bring people home, which means I open a lot of doors until they find the right home, and it's to help investors build generational wealth. That's
Yeah.
the two things that I do. I said, but to do that is a whole lot of back end work that nobody sees because, we just sell houses. We open doors to pretty houses and we sell them. And in the beginning, I might have thought that too, but 26 years later, that is so far from the truth.
Yeah.
Um,
Like right
because
now, I want to say from your initial hello with a potential buyer to keys in hand, here's your new home. It's 46 or 47 individuals and different agencies that will touch that whole loan process. And
absolutely, I
not
tell
just
them all
the
the
whole,
time, I said,
yeah.
you don't know the amount of people behind the scenes that are working for you. And my job is to make sure, as your representative, that's what I am. I represent you, is to negotiate all that, to handle any issues that I can before it comes to you.
Yeah.
Because anything I can clear up that does not upset my client, I'm going to clear it up before it gets to them.
Yeah,
That's what a lot of people don't understand is that our job is to make this as smooth for our client as possible. Doesn't mean we're not hitting bumps on the back end, but we're definitely not going to have them go over them with us if we can keep from it, because we want it
you're
to be a
right.
good experience for that buyer. We don't want them
Nice.
upset. So our job is to fix it so that they don't get upset.
I love it. All right, so someone listening from afar and they're like, "I'm moving there." What would you tell them about the areas you serve? Some of the key highlights that you love. And yeah, let's
Well, of course, a lot of people come to Tennessee because it doesn't have a state tax.
It's a big
So that's
win.
that's a big one. And it's according to what you're looking for. I mean, are you wanting to be in downtown in the condos and have that nightlife where you can walk to restaurants and stuff? Because the great thing about Tennessee is we can take you from condos to the country. You can, have your condo work, away from town, get on an airplane 20 minutes away and not worry about your property. Or if
Mm,
you're the type that wants a mini farm with your donkey and your pig and your chickens and your, garden, we've got that too. So the thing I love about Tennessee is it's diverse. We have
yeah.
lakes, we have, you know, parks where people can go hiking. We've got shopping, so really Tennessee to me is you get the best of everything and you're within a day's drive of so many adventures.
Yeah.
Location is everything. Within 8 hours, you can be so many places. You can be in Chicago, you can be in Orange Beach, you can be in, you can go to Branson, Missouri and go to the there's a lot of shopping there. Plus, they have one of the little Silver Dollar City. You can be in Nashville Shores from Memphis in 3 hours, and go. You can be in Gatlinburg in 5.5 to 6, and be in the mountains. So, where can you in a day be from the mountains or the beach? You can go either way.
Mm,
In a day's trip, you can go either way. I mean, I just think that's amazing. You can hit every inter so what do we got? I'm trying to think. I said Silver Dollar City, there's Dollywood, there's just so many things that you can do. Six
yeah.
Flags, you can hit two different Six Flags according to which direction you want to go in a
Wow.
day. So I
Yeah.
mean, I just think that this location of being in Tennessee is just amazing, especially in the central West Tennessee area,
Yeah.
because you are a day drive for about anything you'd want to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think it's just the best thing.
Yeah. You are in a fantastic location. I can tell you, so years ago I was an Uber driver, a long time ago. And I would meet so many people from Tennessee, from Memphis area, from Millington area, and so I'm familiar from their stories. And but on a weekend trip, not even necessarily a long weekend. We're just down for the weekend. Like they drove in Friday evening. They're gonna play Friday night, Sunday or Saturday, and head back home Sunday. And
Hmm.
you can even head back home
Yeah.
Sunday late, get an extra day at the beach. And so that's fantastic. And it's tax free, your state. That is such
Well,
an
I'm
envious
telling you, we
thing.
do
So
it. I told you we like to travel. My family does it all the time.
yeah,
I mean, it's like cut out on Friday, in 6 to 8 hours, you're going to be somewhere. Come back Sunday night, you can still make it to work on Monday. I mean, it's the greatest thing. And if you just need a weekend break, I mean, Spring River is only not even 3 hours from here.
yeah,
So you can go floating down. I own a place up in Hardy. So, I mean, Spring River is like nothing to get to. And you're floating down the river from the day, you
yeah.
know. And I mean, it's just Hot Springs, Arkansas. We're there in 3.5 hours, you
Nice.
know. So I'm just saying there is not a whole lot you can't get to in a day's drive from right here that you could enjoy, which is
There you
just
go.
insane.
All right, so I'm a foodie, and you mentioned cooking
Ooh.
early on
Hmm.
in our conversation. So if I'm inviting you and you're no, not me, because I'm gonna say yes to whatever you bring, but let your friends invite you to dinner. What is the
Hmm.
signature dish that they hope you're bringing?
Well, I can tell you this is going to sound crazy because it's a dessert, but I make a from scratch banana pudding.
Ah.
And I get asked every holiday and everything to make that.
Mm,
So got to have that banana pudding. But if it's a food dish, a
that
food
counts.
dish,
Counts in my
and
book.
the banana pudding is like the number one. But if it's a food dish, it's probably going to be a prime rib with roasted vegetables. That's
Ah,
probably what it's going to be.
you're speaking my love language. I love it. So prime rib, roast vegetables, banana pudding for dessert. Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll be having that on Christmas.
I love it. Good for y'all, man. I'm thinking about doing a prime rib for Christmas. I did a big 30-pound turkey for Thanksgiving.
We did all that, yeah. But for
Yeah,
Christmas, we do prime rib.
yeah, yeah. That's a great tradition. Wow. All right, Tina, is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
Not that I can think of, just that, you know, when you work with me, just know you're treated like family. And um, I want to make sure that everybody that works with me or my team knows that they come first, and our schedule's theirs and their timeline is ours. There's no rush on our end, and our job is to work at your pace. And, you know, if you're fast, we're fast. If you're slow, we're slow, because this is your journey and we're here just to guide you through it.
Nice. All right. How can anybody, if someone's looking for a real estate agent to help them with buying or selling a home or investing, how could they best get a hold of you?
Well, they can reach me on my cell phone at 901-502-0762, or they can go to our website at midsouthdreamhomes.com, and they'll be able to read about all three of us.
All right. Perfect. That's going to wrap it up for us. Anybody moving to Tennessee, Mississippi, the Millington area, reach out to Tina. You got a fantastic team. Y'all are growing. Y'all had a fantastic past year, and looking forward to seeing what more y'all do in 2026. And we'll do this again.
We're excited too. Thank you, Nathan. And I'm excited to work with you. And I'm just looking forward to a very great start to a 2026. And I hope y'all have a great holiday until then.
All right. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.